Hey guys, I wanted to show you a step-by-step process like how I created a custom Figma mode um, to get reviews and feedbacks on my designs that my designer and I am working on for my product for Dead Zero, right? So I've been having this challenge. So last week, just to give you some sense, I had approximately 60 calls booked for user feedback, and it's a lot. It's too much. But also like were a lot of things that the users or potential users were not able to identify, and I just wanted to show like how we can use AI to actually get those really good feedback, using, and I built this on Cursor. So to start with, like, definitely, as I mentioned, like I'm using Cursor. So, feel free to go onto their website, download it. It's free to use. Um, it's free to use, but also I use a paid version. So it is up to you what version you want to use. You will need a Figma dev seat, a paid account, because the MCP access is not going to be there in a free version. So I have a single dev seat which costs around $15 per month per individual or per user. So that's what I'm using. So I have my account. This is just kind of a designs for our app that I'm playing around. And then this is kind of the MCP directory for Cursor that you can find. They have a lot of different tools, but you can just simply search for Figma, and you will find it, and you can click on it and it will take you to the Cursor. But yeah, let's jump onto the Cursor itself. So let me pull up my screen. So this is how the Cursor would look like if you have never used Cursor, but similar to VS Code but with AI capabilities. I already have a blank directory over here. The first thing that you need to make sure after installing and signing in on Cursor, make sure that you're signed in so that it's easier. If it is free version, that's fine. One thing that you want to do is go into the agents. So go onto the settings first, go into the agents and enable the custom modes over here. So this will by default be disabled, and because it's a beta feature, but you can enable it. And that is what we are going to use. Um, the other thing I do want to mention that I'm not sure if this is there on free version or not. I'm on already on paid, so just an disclaimer over there. But yeah, so once you enable this, um, you know, if you once you let me make this big, if you go on to this drop down, you will see this add custom mode. Before it won't be there, so maybe let me go ahead and disable it and see if you can, if it is there, right? So it's gone now, right? Yeah, as you see. So um so make sure that you enable it, and then after that you will be able to use this custom mode. I already made one for my app, which is Figma Reviewer, but we are going to make a new one. So click on this add custom mode. You can give a name over here. So I'm going to do a Figma demo. That's how you can give the name. You can set a model actually by default, like which model it should use. So I have been using, Sonnet. So you might not have access to it on free version, but you can use any other models as well. But I got really good response and feedbacks from Sonnet 4.5 with thinking specifically, right? Because I do want to think about certain aspects of the app and the design and the process. So I wanted to have thinking capabilities, so I just select that. I usually have it on the max mode so that it can do the best without having any restrictions on the costing. But then you can come into the all tools, and there are like different options over here that you can actually enable or disable. So what do you want this agent to have access to, right? So do you want it to have access to your code base, web, grep, and search files? So I usually keep this default. I want it to have access to these, but it is up to you what you want. Again, I usually remove delete files. I don't want it to delete any code. So usually I restrict any agents to do that. I don't want it to run any code on terminal, so I usually disable that. And then in MCP, this is where the important thing is. So we want to use Figma MCP. So I disable the others if I don't want to use it. If you want to use them as well, you can keep it enabled. It doesn't matter. But yeah, that's how. But let me go back one step. As I missed to add the MCP, right? So you can go into the MCP tools. So when you go onto the website, when you click add to the cursor, and if you're logged in into the cursor, what it will do, it will directly bring you back over here. But this is how the Figma MCP looks like. So it's pretty straightforward and easy. What it will do once you install the MCP and you go back and you start chatting, it will ask you to authenticate it using your account credentials. But also there is another way that you can do. You can go into your account settings and create a personal access token and create one and pass it over here as you see, right? So by mistake I opened the Supabase. I will open the Figma. Oh yeah, yeah, so this is the Figma one right over here. So, but right now it has authenticated through Cursor, so that's the reason it doesn't need one. But you can also pass it, pretty easily, and you can see like if I click on it, it will just open it in my Cursor. It will ask it to install once you click it, and then technically I already have it installed, so I won't. So yeah, let's go back to our process. This is where yeah, so I can go back, redo it. So we got till this step, and then you see this advanced option. So this is where you can actually pass your custom prompts. So I do have a custom prompt uh, created for this. So this is a huge prompt that I created. So I'm going to just copy it, and paste it over here. And then I will just click just done. And to give you some sense, what I will do, I will go back on my Figma, open my Figma page. So this is for the mobile screens, and I'll just take the link and go back on cursor and just paste it, nothing else, right? So if you see like now it is selecting Figma demo by default. It already set the model to what I asked it to, and it will keep doing. It doesn't matter if you have any other models in your chat by default, but it will switch to that if you use that custom mode, and it will just run this. And yeah, now it starts going through, thinking through all the things. As I said, like right now it already has access to my Figma file. Figma account through the MCP because I already authenticated it before. So it's not going to go through that. But the first thing that it does, it goes through and asks you, some questions for clarification so that it can give you much more better constructive feedback. And over here, if you see like, what is the purpose of this, what kind of users are you target audience that you're targeting? Is there any tech stack that you want to use specifically? Specifically review focus, the URL doesn't specify any particular screen node. Should I review the entire design file? Like it will ask you. So it is like, it want to be like a really specific. And yeah, so let me try to answer some of these questions. um, so I would just for an example just take these to make it much faster. Paste it over here. What are the key goals you need to accomplish? So I will do like millennials, etc. I'll skip some of the questions for now to make it faster. I will do this. um, I will just do this as well. And then I'm going to say um, review all screens. So this is, I'm just doing for the sake of time. Otherwise, you need to just think about your target customers in a really right way, like, so that it can give you a really good, yeah. And then now, if you see thought for some time, and then now it is looking to access the MCP to capture and get the Figma data. You can run each and every step, so it will go through multiple steps. So you can run it, click on run, and you can change this behavior to like, it will ask every time. Right now, that is how I have it, but you can just say like run everything and continue, and it will just go through uh, go through everything. Um, so it says like I can see the file structure, design include, sign up. Let me, go through. So now it is going through. It uses get screenshots. So it takes the screenshots of each and every screen and you know yeah, goes through it. So it is going to take like maybe a couple of minutes for it because we had a lot of screens to go through. But yeah, so I will. Yeah, so it is running now. Then I'll just wait for a sec and we'll get back once it is done. Okay, so we have our report done. So yeah, it went through all the screens and then it created a report with, summary, executive summary, product context, scoring each and every section. This report is really extensive. So you can also, minimize the prompt, remove certain of the things that you don't think make sense for your workload. You can also customize this prompt based on it. Right now, it's a generic prompt that I have created. So that's the reason it asks you a lot of questions initially to go through, and then it kind of takes its time to go ahead and creates this report. But this is pretty extensive and really useful for a lot of people. So if you see at the end what it does, it creates kind of an uh, you know areas. It also like creates for different personas like kind of a TLDR that you can share. So for like let's say founders or executives, you can share these for product managers, developers, and designers. But this is pretty extensive as you can see, and then it asks you where do you want to store it. So I will just say um, save at root directory, and then technically it will start writing the file in this directory, which is over here. So yeah, it started creating that design review .0.md file, as it will. I have specifically in prompt mentioned like it should be in MD and how the format should look like. So yeah, now it started creating. It will take like a couple of minutes to create that. So once that is done, we'll come back and look at the report. Okay, so we are back. The file has been created, so it's like perfect. Um, the AI went ahead and saved the file at the root directory, and just gave a high level context about what this report has. So let's open that now. So yeah, let me probably just open a preview, much better way. So yeah, you can see this report for the Dead Zero app, gives you really good context, also links to your Figma file, what stack you will be using in a lot of things, and gives you a executive summary, a score set, where is it, what are the things that you will need, gives you the product context. But I'll go through the more important stuff, right? So it tells you, uh, like for every aspect of your design, it takes you through everything, which maybe human eyes won't be able to find, or even you won't get those feedbacks through actual users, because users only focus on particular features. How is it working? Do they like it? Do they don't like it? And those kind of stuff. But there are like a lot of technical stuff um, that is also really important. So for an example, like visual designing and aesthetics, how is it right now? So it's scored at 9 out of 10. It feels like we have done a really good job, but still it gave us some stuff that we can improve on, right? So yeah, so it took us through that. It took us through the user experience. So it scored 8 out of 10. Similarly, it also checks for accessibility, right? So if there are like, you want to make your, app for consumers, which anyone and everyone is going to use, you want to focus on accessibility, and a lot of times we don't. So if you see for my app, they have given it score like almost 5 out of 10, and the weightage is 15% for it, right? So what were the critical issues, and prioritizing them. So it becomes really informational, cognitive load and information architecture, right? So things like we have done a pretty good job over there. Again, like, forms and data input, what did it feel, interactive design and micro interaction. So things like we have done a decent job maybe, but not great, just at 6. So this is kind of by category how it, breaks it down. But if you go into, specific, details, like, around best practices as well, but it also gives you critical fixes like, timelines, what you should focus on, around, prioritize action items, prioritize them by high, medium, low. And this is kind of a guide, right? So, um, this is something that you can share with your developer, but not necessarily you can also remove it from your prompt. But these are just like, different references that you can actually utilize to implement these issues that you already had, right? So it will give you like, what color do you have right now, what you can change it to, um, really good, feedbacks and insights that you get, and with solutions as well. So it does a pretty great job. Then you get, next step, like, timeline on the, like, how much time it can take, how you should proceed, and then, as I said, like, summary, and yeah, some plugins that mention like that we can use for testing and material designing and stuff. So pretty comprehensive, pretty great. Like, I don't think I can get these kind of feedbacks from any user around these things. Those are more like, really good constructive feedbacks around, features, and how they would like to see it, and those kind of stuff. So this was really interesting. So let me know if you like this and you want to build it. I can share you the prompt as well, and you already have this step by step, video to go through it. So yeah.